Now, Senator Joe Manchin is a corporate Democrat who serves the establishment and giant corporations. And he's not shy about who he works for. Now, he recently attacked some of his colleagues, Democratic colleagues, who want him to fully commit to Democratic policy. More specifically, things like not cutting taxes for corporations for the wealthy. There was this letter that came around where a lot of Democrats signed on to saying, we are not going to do tax reform. We're not going to sign on to tax reform with the Republicans that cuts corporate taxes, that cuts taxes for the wealthy. In fact, he recently told the Charleston Gazette-Mail, he said, I don't give a shit. You understand? I don't give a shit. Don't care if I get elected. Don't care if I get defeated. How about that? Cash me outside. If they think I'm up for re-election, or if they think because I'm up for election, that I can be wrangled into voting for shit that I don't like and can't explain, they're all crazy. Now, hold on. Hey, man, look, we got a badass over here. I'm just saying. Look, hey, if you don't care, wonderful. Then that means you're really not going to be pushing hard for re-election now, are you? You've got a primary coming up, and I can't wait. There's more. He said of that, I'm not scared of an election. Let's put it that way. Elections do not bother me or scare me. I'm going to continue to do the same thing I've always done. Extremely independent, except for all the money you take from fossil fuel companies. Just saying. Now, Manchin's comments were in response to an attack on him from GOP senatorial candidate Patrick Morrisey. Now, he's called for Manchin to resign from Democratic leadership and accused him of not fully representing his constituents' interests. Now, look, tell me, quick question. Do politicians represent their constituents? Do most of them? I would argue no. Because right now they're too busy pleasing the donors. In order to get their campaign contributions, they need to run for office. And so but that's a systemic problem, okay? Now, I'm sure some of the politicians, of course, would like to end that system that's got them dialing for dollars for sometimes up to 6 hours a day. But anyway, Morrisey specifically noted Manchin's refusal to sign a letter establishing Democrats' three main policy points on tax reform. Manchin was one of the three Senate Democrats who did not sign the letter, saying that he agreed with everything in the platform, but that he wanted party leaders to try and bring Republicans on board with the plan. Now, look, my personal opinion is, right now, I'm against working with Republicans on any kind of tax reform. Now, that letter said, well, we're not going to approve anything that gives tax cuts for rich people. But wait, you ask, well, why don't you support that? Isn't that good? Shouldn't you work with them? Because as long as it doesn't cut taxes for the rich, I thought you were in favor of not cutting taxes for the rich. Well, look, what I said over and over again is that tax reform is another word for corporate tax cuts. What I'm afraid of is I don't trust the Democrats to adhere to any sort of promise, especially when working with the Republicans. The Republicans, look, for all the criticisms I have of the Republican Party, one thing that they have an advantage is that they are strong. They are strong, and they happen to use that strength to club Democrats over the head. The Democrats are way too conciliatory, and they bend over backwards way too much to the Republicans. That, to me, is a major, major problem. And look, I know how these deals go, right? Republicans, they want to cut taxes for the corporations and the rich. And they're like, that's our position. We're not going to come to you. You're going to come to us. And what's interesting is that cutting taxes for rich people is super unpopular. At least among non-rich people. Among rich people, obviously super popular. And that's, of course, unfortunately, who funds both parties. So I see the Democrats saying, well, okay, look, we'll help you cut taxes for the rich as long as you have a tax cut in there for middle-class people. Or maybe, hey, how about in exchange for tax cut for the rich, we slightly increase some entitlement spending. Maybe a little bit. Who knows, right? Look, I'm scared how any of these deals would turn out because, again, the Democrats have shown that they're incredibly weak when it comes to negotiation. I like the spirit of the letter. I just don't trust the Democrats to actually stand up for their own principles. Because I don't think they have any principles at this point. Not the Democratic Party. Individual Democrats do, obviously. But again, there's so many people that I don't trust to adhere to those principles. But, and as far as Manchin, again, he didn't sign because he knew. He's like, no, of course I'm not going to agree to that. Because I'm fine with cutting taxes for corporations. I don't trust Manchin to do the right thing. I don't think anybody else does either. As for what he's saying about elections and primaries, you know what? Great. More Democrats should embrace primaries. Because let's face it, more are coming whether you like it or not. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.